My first thought when planning Sam's death was to use a kitchen knife, but I'd read that their handles tended to slip when used for stabbing and ended up hurting the person holding it. The last thing I needed was my DNA on Sam's corpse, so I opted to use an old combat knife I bought for $2 at a garage sale in a different part of the city instead. Of course, I also wore gloves to make sure that I didn't leave my fingerprints anywhere near the crime scene. When I plunged my knife into Sam Smith's back, I felt a weight being lifted off my shoulders. Then, the cracking of his spine at the tip of the knife. He let out a high-pitched scream of surprise and pain that was drowned out by the rain and thunder. I was sure that he was already done for by the first stab. Best case scenario for him at that point was he somehow got medical attention in time and became a paraplegic for life. That wasn't enough for me, though. When he gutted my father like a fish, he stabbed him so many times that he got a nickname for it. I was about to return the favor in kind. I brought my knife down on his back over and over again. I lost count of how many times by the 10th stab. In that moment, hearing him beg for mercy on the ground with his face planted in the dirt made all the waiting worth it. Though he couldn't see me with his hood now draped over his face, a part of me wanted him to know who I was before he died. To be more precise, I wanted him to know exactly why he was dying like a dog on the streets that day, and for that fact to haunt him for the rest of his very short life. I flipped Sam over on the ground. Blood poured from the holes on his back and drizzled down a nearby drain alongside the rain, erasing any evidence, exactly as I'd planned. I looked him in the eyes, wide with fear and confusion. I wasn't wearing any gang colors, just a plain clear raincoat splattered with blood and dripping with rainwater over nondescript clothes that any witness would have had a hard time remembering. He must have been racking his brain for gangs that I could have belonged to. He opened his mouth again, probably to ask me why I was doing this. I slashed him across the throat before he could get a word out, but I gave him an answer anyways. I told him exactly who I was, the son of the man he killed to earn this stupid little nickname. I don't know if he even remembered who my father was anymore. That didn't really matter anymore, though. He wouldn't have been able to give an answer while choking on his own blood. I watched as the life faded from his eyes. For the first time since my brother's death, a genuine smile of happiness spread across my face. It was the last thing Sam Tenshank Smith saw before I sent him to hell with one last stab to the eye. After killing Sam, I made even more cuts around his body and waited for him to bleed out as much as possible so that the rain would wash the blood down the drain. I knew that nobody would come around the alleyway. Sam himself chose to use the alleyway as his usual route because people hardly ever came by, making it less likely that anyone would see him while he was carrying his extortion money. Once most of the blood had been drained from his corpse, I dragged him over to a nearby dumpster and threw him inside. I spent some time covering it up with trash so that the dumpster truck driver won't notice him when he comes to pick up the trash. I also threw the knife I used to kill him down the drain to be forever lost in the sewers. I'd have dumped Sam's body in there too, had the opening been big enough. I then washed off the blood from my raincoat with the rain, pocketed it, and used a collapsible umbrella to make my way home. I took the long way around, passing by an old warehouse where homeless people were known to frequent. As expected, there was no one there at night. A charity event in the neighborhood had opened the food kitchen for the homeless that night. Bless their souls. I used one of the trash cans that the homeless had been using as a makeshift fire pit for the warmth to burn the raincoat I wore during the murder. I arrived home before my mother did, with no one the wiser. I was happy that I could finally go back to just living my life now that Sam was dead, but when Natalie welcomed me back home with a smile, I felt something else well up inside me. Shame. Not of being a murderer, but of not being the same good person Natalie clearly thought I was. I've been living a lie since that day. Pretending to be a kind and helpful older brother to my little sister who had no idea of what I'd done. The worst part, despite my feelings of guilt for lying to my sister, I've yet to regret killing Sam Smith. I replay his murder over and over in my head every night, but it doesn't haunt me. I miss it. That feeling of power over another human being. indescribable satisfaction of a carefully laid out plan carried out to perfection. The catharsis that came after I unleashed all the righteous indignation that had been welling up inside me since I was 10 years old. I want to feel it again. Only my love for Natalie has been keeping me away from the urge to experience the thrill of killing once more. I can only pray it stays that way.